Hello students, let us start the second chapter, which is geographic grid. Students, before knowing the grid, we ought to know what are latitudes and longitudes. So in a nutshell, we can say that latitudes and longitudes are the imaginary lines. The horizontal imaginary lines, they are considered as latitudes, and vertical imaginary lines, they are considered the longitudes. For example, say let us see the rough sketch here. Let us consider these horizontal lines as lines of latitudes and the vertical lines as lines of longitudes. So if we are asked what actually the grid is, you must say that the grid is the network formed by the latitudes and longitudes, or in a nutshell we can say the grid is the intersection of latitudes and longitudes. Students, have you thought why the grid is important, or why we ought to know the grid? Why do we take its help? So the answer is only one, that is for the exact location of places. Students, you know very well that latitudes and longitudes both are expressed in degrees. Similarly, the grids are also what expressed in degrees. So let us see why places are located in degrees. We know that Earth is round, that is circle, and a circle is comprised of 360 units called degrees. And each degree can be further divided into 60 minutes, and each 60 minute can be further subdivided into 60 seconds. So using North Pole and the South Pole as basic reference points, two sets of imaginary circles are drawn around the globe to help us to locate a place on it. These are parallels of latitudes and meridians of longitudes. So here you can see the parallels of latitude and meridians of longitude. So in terms of latitude, we can say, do you see the red dotted line, that is equator, and you know this equator is the imaginary line that divides the Earth into two halves, that is northern and southern hemispheres. Similarly, you see this line, you can say top to bottom. You can say this line is the line of longitude or meridian of longitude, and it joins the two poles, that is North Pole and the South Pole, and it is the imaginary line that along with the international deadline, that is 180 degree, uh, along with it also divides the Earth into two equal halves, that is eastern and western hemispheres. Okay students, now let us see the one of the very important points, that is equator. What is equator? The equator is an imaginary line that divides the Earth into two hemispheres, the northern and the southern hemispheres. As I told you earlier, this line, what is it? It is the equator, and it divides the Earth into two equal halves, that is northern and southern hemispheres. Okay. Equator lies midway between the north and the south poles of the Earth, and plane of equator intersects the Earth's axis of rotation at right angles. You can see here in the picture. Equator is taken as 0 degree latitude, and all other latitudes are measured up to 90 degree north and south. Students, I must tell you all that you might be perhaps you might be knowing the number of latitudes. Many say that number of latitudes are 180, but students, I'll tell you that the number of latitudes not only 180, but indeed it is 181. So 90 in the northern hemisphere, 90 in the southern hemispheres, and one being the equator. Have you understood? I'm talking about the lines of latitudes. So number of latitudes in northern hemisphere 90, number of latitudes in latitudes in southern hemisphere 90, and one being the equator, sum total 181. The Earth is slightly flattened at the pole. You can see at poles it's slightly flattened. At the same time, I must tell you about the longitudes also. They are 360 number. How many? They are 360 number. There are two ways of finding out the latitude of a place. First is to measure the vertical angle of the pole star, and another is the reference to the zenith distance, or the angle that the sun makes with the zenith of a place at 12 noon, and declination of the sun, or the angle that sun makes north or south of the equator on a particular day. Now here the second imaginary line, that is parallel up latitude, though you have read it about it, one of the important ones, that is equator. So here what the heading is, parallels of latitude. There are infinite points on the surface of Earth situated at the same angular distance north or south of the equator. Here now let us see the definition of latitude. A line joining all places having the same latitude is called line of latitude. For example, the line of 45° north joins all places situated at an angular distance of 45° north of the equator. Similarly, 45° south, it will also what? Show the angular distance of 45° south of the equator. You're well aware with the other imaginary lines also in parallels of latitude. For example, equator, you have read that it measures 0 degree. Next is Tropic of Cancer, which lies in the north of the equator, and its degree measures 23.5° north. Similarly, Tropic of Capricorn, it lies in the south and its measure is 23.5° south. The Arctic Circle, 66.5° north, and the Antarctic Circle, 66.5° south. Similarly, you will be studying about heat zone, that Earth has been divided into 3 heat zones, that is the torrid zone, temperate zone, and frigid zone. You can say measure lines between 23.5° north to 23.5° south. The extension of this zone is torrid zone, and it is also the hottest zone because it lies along with the equator, and as you know that the sun rays remain vertical over the equator, that's why it is the hottest zone. Similarly, the zone between north frigid zone and the, you can say, torrid zone, it is north temperate zone. Similarly, the zone between torrid zone and south torrid zone, and you can say Tropic of Capricorn and south frigid zone, it is the south temperate zone. Similarly, between South Pole and Antarctic Circle, it is south frigid zone, and lastly between Arctic Circle and North Pole, it is north frigid zone. Now it's the turn of meridian of longitude. Students, you see the imaginary line, this is prime meridian. It's also called Greenwich meridian. You know why is it called Greenwich meridian? Since it passes from a village called Greenwich in London, that's why it's called Greenwich meridian. And the prime meridian, along with the line which is just behind this line, this is the 180° longitude. So these two, prime meridian and international dateline, which is 180°, divide the earth in two equal hemispheres, that is eastern and western hemispheres. And how many lines of longitude do we have? 360 in number. How many? 360 in number. At the same time, I must tell you that all the longitudes, they are of equal measure, and they all form semicircles because they start from one of the poles and meet to the other pole. So they form semicircles. Students, can you guess which of the imaginary lines in latitude intersects all the imaginary line that is longitudes? The equator. Yes, obviously the equator exactly bisects all meridians or longitudes of meridians. And what being said further, the length of the arc of 1 degree of longitude is the longest at the equator, about 111 kilometers. Students, I must tell you that the difference between, or the distance between two latitudinal lines, they are 111 kilometer, or you can say in a nutshell that the distance between two successive latitudes, that is 111 kilometer. Similarly, in terms of longitude, you can say which is called meridian. Meridian means what? The actually sun is still at the meridian means what? We can say, for example, the meridian, that is Greenwich meridian, it is having 12 noon, and our Allahabad, which is the Indian Standard Time, which is 5 hours 30 minutes ahead than that of Greenwich. So you can say if it is noon at Greenwich, then it will be 5:30 p.m. at Allahabad. Students, as we read about equator, that is the one of the major horizontal lines. Similarly, one of the major lines in terms of longitude, that is prime meridian, and prime meridian, you can say from it the places they lie east and west. And you know that if we consider the sunrise between the two places, you can say one in the east, another in the west, where the sunrise will take place first. Obviously, the easternmost easternmost one. For example, if a place is here, so what will happen? As the sun rises from the east, so the sunrise will take place on the very first easternmost place. Similarly, we can have the example in India, that of Arunachal Pradesh and Gujarat. You know, as Arunachal Pradesh lie in the east and Gujarat in the west. So, if for example, if sunrise take place at Arunachal Pradesh at 5 a.m., then could you guess that at what time will the sunrise take place in Gujarat? Obviously, 2 hours later. That is, if the sunrise takes place at Arunachal Pradesh at 5 a.m., then the sunrise will take place at Gujarat at 7 a.m. So, students, we'll continue the chapter in the next video. So, for it, so as is the first day of this chapter, so enough for today, and must go through the chapter, as I think that most of you must have bought your books, and if anyone is lacking, so for them I'm trying to send you the PDF as well. So please go through the PDF and the video as well, and must try to get through each and every point, okay, and won't waste your time. Must make a systematic study, and you have to read lot many subjects, so you shouldn't ignore any of the subjects. And I also, this time no doubt I appreciate that I have delayed in sending you the video and PDF as well. So so today onwards I ensure you that you'll be getting the videos and PDFs on a regular basis, so won't be anxious anymore, and just be in touch with the books and the PDFs, videos, etc., and try to utilize the maximum time, okay. So we'll have the next class very soon.